Congratulations. It is a hugely significant moment, and we'll talk more about it in a moment. But I wonder if first you could just reflect on the horrors we've seen in Manchester.
I mean, I send my condolences to all those affected by the horrifying events in Manchester. And, you know, anti-Semitism is absolutely wrong. And I stand with the Jewish community in solidarity at this time. And I think one of the really good things is that churches and other faith groups I know in Manchester are coming alongside them to give them support at this particularly difficult time.
And you've spoken to the Chief Rabbi?
Yes, I've spoken to the Chief Rabbi this morning one is to ask him to pass on my condolences, but also to reassure him of my support in standing alongside him at this difficult time. Yours
is the established religion in this country. Your appointment was announced by Number 10. People very much look towards you for spiritual guidance. How will you guide the country to end this religious hatred, this division?
Well, I think as a spiritual leader, we get opportunities not just to talk, but also to model it. So I will continue what I've always been doing. I will work in partnership with other faith leaders for us to not only speak about it, but demonstrate it our actions, how we stand against any sort of anti-Semitism or racism in that way, but also to encourage our churches, which are at the heart of every community, who also work alongside their local partners. And I do believe that opportunity for them to increase the cohesiveness of their communities is really important.
The Home Secretary today said that pro-Palestine marches should be paused. Is that a good idea, do you think?
I think that the challenge for us as a community is around how we create a way in which people can express their views, but not in a way that causes oppression or violence around that. And I think one of the really good opportunities for churches is for them to continue the work that they do, to create a place in which some of these conversations can happen. So that listening to what people are frightened of and they fear happens in a way that is not threatening. And so for us as a church, I believe that's our role.
So you must be very concerned when we see visible Christian nationalism at a recent Unite the Kingdom rally. Does that worry you?
Yeah, I mean, it's wrong when any symbols are used in an oppressive way. You know, at the heart of the Christian faith is the call to love our neighbours. And so what we need to do is speak out when we see things that are either racist or anti-Semitic, but also model our lives in a way that says that there is another narrative. There is a different narrative that we know is going on in our communities.
Let's talk about today. For nearly 1,500 years, men have always been in this role. Today is hugely significant. Do you feel that weight of responsibility?
There's a part of me that's just getting my head around being the Archbishop of Canterbury and what that means. But I do recognise that being the first woman comes with some responsibility. I was the first woman who was the Bishop of London, so have experienced some of that. And when I go into schools, even as the Bishop of London, the women often sit up. The female students often sit up, and that's not because they want to be the Bishop of London, but it is the fact that they see somebody and think, actually, maybe it may be entirely possible for me to do something to make my dreams come true. And of course, when I was 16, women were not being ordained, and I would never have dreamt about it. So today, in a sense, is a journey over many years.
Of course, many Anglicans are very anti-women priests, anti-women bishops, let alone a female Archbishop of Canterbury. What if they refuse to accept the oversight of a woman?
Well, we have in the Anglican Church and the Church of England, there clearly are a range of theologies around the ordination of women, both in terms of priests and bishops. And certainly my experience from London, where that is still the case, is my role in actually going to them and saying, actually, I want your ministry to flourish. And my experience has been is they have not changed their theological views, but we do find a way in which to share ministry. Because fundamentally, at the core of what we do is to make the love of Jesus Christ known.
But it's sexism, isn't it? Shouldn't you be calling it out?
The theological position for those that object to, might object to me being a priest or a bishop, there is a theology of it, and people will be very, very clear and confident about that. And it is the settled position of the Church of England that we enable those people to flourish, and that is what I do at the heart of me. At times, of course, I'll call out sexism when I think it is sexism, but my sort of ministry has been to encourage them in what they do, and we have found a place where we respectfully preach the gospel in word and deed.
Let's talk about safeguarding. It brought down your predecessor. Are there any safeguarding skeletons in your closet that you're concerned about?
When I spoke earlier today, I said very clearly that I believe particularly senior leaders need to have light shone on us and our actions. And if you look across the Diocese of London over the last 8 years, that what we have done is we have invested in safeguarding. We have increasingly had the involvement of survivors' voices. We have had a shift change about culture and professionalism, and also the culture in parish churches. There are, of course, at times when we reflect on what we have done and we make improvements, and that will continue into the future.
Many victims will be worried about your appointment. They feel that not enough has been done. They want independent scrutiny. Is that something you'd like to see?
So I've been on the record to say that I do believe that we need both independent scrutiny and independent of operation. And of course we are now we have a process going that is beginning to bring some of those changes into place, and I will continue to give my support to that. But not only independence is important, we have increasingly heard the voice of survivors, and I would want us to encourage ensuring that we do include the voice of survivors as well as we go forward, so they are stronger and clearer and shape the way in which we ensure that the church is safe.
Can we talk about assisted dying? It's something you've been very vocal about. The majority of the public support assisted dying. You're opposed to it. Will you campaign in your new role, or will you offer moral support to both sides?
What is really clear is that whether you're, whatever your view on assisted dying is, that actually our aim is always the same, that we want to see pain-free and comfortable deaths, and I also recognise that this will in people cause a lot of emotions, and because of their experiences. So I always, fundamentally, that's where the pastoral support is.
You risk alienating many people though, don't you, with your views on this?
So in terms of I think one of the really good things at the moment with the bill going through is that we are talking about death more. We have to talk about death. It prepares ourselves, but it also prepares others. And I think that is really encouraging. So it is an environment where assisted dying and dying is being talked about much more, and in a sense enabling them to take part of that conversation.
And just two more questions very quickly. You've been a big supporter of the LGBT community. How will you balance that with conservative Christians, many in countries where homosexuality is illegal?
So in the Diocese of London we have a very broad church tradition, and so what I have done is made my commitment to providing an environment in which whatever your theology is, that you can flourish. Alongside that, we've done a lot of work that says, so what does pastoral care look like for the LGBT community, even if you have a conservative evangelical theology, as well as how do we speak well to each other. So what I hope to do is to continue to go forward, having learnt how you create an environment for mixed theologies into the future.
And finally, can I ask you about your faith? Do you believe that the virgin birth and resurrection of Christ really happened, or are they symbolic?
I believe they happened.
They really happened. We wish you well in your new job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.